all the flip-flops we have seen on immigration, temporary foreign workers just in the last week, it really doesn't matter what the party is. I mean, the federal Liberals, Justin Trudeau and Mark Miller, the immigration minister, their tune this week on immigration, it's as if they have no idea that they were in charge of things for the last little while. So it's the government announcing this week, federal government announcing this week, that they're going to slash temporary foreign workers. And on top of that, they have intimated that permanent immigration will also be cut. You saw it in this province yesterday. The provincial Liberals, now they are nowhere near government, by the way, for lots of reasons. But yesterday, Mark Tanguay, interim leader, starts talking about, hey, Quebec, we are over capacity. We don't have the capacity to integrate, and social services, we need to keep this in check. We must create a Bureau of Immigration of Planification. That's what he said, planning. So, this seems like overnight, the narrative really has changed on immigration, temporary foreign workers in this country. Let's get the thoughts of Patrice Brunet, immigration lawyer. He's been a valuable resource on the program time and time again, and he's on the line. Hi, Patrice. How you doing?
Hi, Elias. Pretty good, thanks.
So listen, obviously I gave a pretty long intro there with so many different facets. From the immigration lawyer's perspective, how are you perceiving all of the different things we've heard or we've seen telegraphed in the last week?
Well, there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions from the Quebec government, and then it seems like the federal government is following Quebec's lead. How we're perceiving it is that they're panicking, but we're scratching our heads. Why are they panicking? Because our economy is growing. When any economy grows, you need to rely on foreign workers to fill instant positions that employers need to fill, because frankly, the Canadians are just not there to fill those positions. And the message that it's sending out, not just to our Canadian employers, but also to the interested foreign workers from abroad, is that Canada is quickly closing its doors, and it's sending a very negative message for the economy. I'm very worried, and I'm taking off my lawyer's hat here. I'm not advocating for more business, because that's not how it works. I'm putting on my Canadian hat, and I'm really scratching my head. How will the economy grow and sustain its growth if our Canadian employers can't continue to rely on those foreign workers that fill positions that either Canadians don't want or they're not qualified to do them? Over the past decades, we've encouraged Canadians to stay in school, to get educated, and to have higher positions, and it's worked. So those low-wage workers, they hold those positions that less and less Canadians are taking. So we need to fill those gaps. We still need those manufacturing employees, unless we've written off the manufacturing industry in Canada. We need those people to continue to sew our garments, because otherwise those jobs will continue to go to Asia. And we need those businesses, those Canadian businesses, to be alive so that we can have those workers and it's not just foreign workers that sew those garments. It's also Canadians. But as the business is growing, they need to fill those gaps quickly. So
okay, but Patrice, just on the economic front, because you've brought it up here, right? Well, the economy is growing. Last week we got the retail numbers in this country, and unbelievably, we're adding 1 million people a year, right, population-wise. Somehow the retail numbers last month went down, which is almost impossible to do when you're adding 1 million people. So there's an indication that the economy is not going well. The unemployment numbers have been going up. And again, a lot of people have been saying this for a while, but this week it's Justin Trudeau and Mark Miller saying it. Youth unemployment is through the roof. It's at a level it hasn't been at in 15 years. So, I do get your points, but I think there are a lot of indications that, A, the economy isn't as great as everyone was saying it was, and there's a whole group of people, young Canadians, that perhaps want those jobs or some of those jobs that temporary foreign workers are taking.
It's a fair point, Elias. Now, let me deconstruct that. The economy still continues to grow at a rate of about 4% per year, so the economy still grows. Those positions that the low-wage workers are taking, they go through a very careful process that's been in place for the past for a number of years. It's the LMIAs, Labor Market Impact Assessment. So Labor Market Impact Assessment. The employer has to demonstrate that there's no other Canadian that wants to fill that job. It's already in place. They already do their checks. It's not just an open door policy for low-wage workers. They have to go through a preliminary process to show that they've tried to hire locally, or that it's a job that is chronically that there's no Canadians.
Can I tell you
the work permit gets issued?
Patrice, can I just tell you one thing? And it's very possible you're not aware of this because this story broke this morning. It's in the Toronto Star. Okay, on your point, boy, that's certainly what you just said. That's what I hoped the system was like. But here's the story. I'll read you the headline. All right. So government officers told to skip fraud prevention steps when vetting temporary foreign worker applications, a Toronto Star investigation finds. In this report that is out this morning, it's told, like I said, they were told to skip fraud prevention, and measures were taken to fast track applications irregardless of the red flags in many of the applications. Does that? I would imagine that changes your mind, right?
No, well, I mean, it changes my mind. It's a concern that the program may not be 100% delivered appropriately, but and so they have to address that. Do you address it by suspending the program for 6 months, like they've done in Quebec? Do you settle the problem by having a freeze for all across Canada for metropolitan regions that have unemployment rate over 6%? The system works with the LMIA, and I'll tell you, it's difficult for an employer to get an approved LMIA. So there's a lot of hoops that they have to go through, and that's been suspended. So perhaps it's necessary for the federal government and the government of Quebec to suspend those programs in order to take a step back, to take a couple of steps forward afterwards once they've reviewed it. But we should embrace the fact that our economy is growing and that we need foreign workers to fill those jobs. If you take, to your point, where the youth may not hold those positions, let's take a fast food restaurant where kids are sending their resumes. Well, a lot of employers need stability with those employees, and it's not all Canadians that take those jobs and will hold them for months and months. There's a lot of ghosting. They don't show up at work. It affects the operations.
Turnover
of
rates.
the restaurant.
Turnover rates are costly.
The turnover rates are very high, but when you have a foreign worker that gets there, they're on time. They're in and out of their shifts, and they stay for months. So that brings a lot of stability to our Canadian employers. Now, if a Canadian youth wants to hold that position for a number of months, great, but the numbers don't show that they're very reliable.
Patrice, we're out of time, so I got to run, but I want to thank you so much for coming on. We'll catch up again soon, I imagine.
Thanks, Elias.
Immigration lawyer Patrice Brunet right there.